Hello, everybody, and welcome to the GingerTalks podcast. My name is Ginger Snaps, and typically I would say joining me as always is Druid, but Druid ran into some trouble getting into the recording, so if he makes it in, he will make a grand entrance as he always does. But until then, I'm just going to introduce this week's guest, a good buddy of mine that I can talk to for hours about anything, everything, and nothing. Joining us this week is the wonderful micromanager. Micro, how the fuck are you, my dude?
I'm doing good, living the life, you know,
Doing the things.
doing the thing because that's what you do when you're stuck at home all the time.
Facts. So Micro is a fellow Twitch streamer who's actually been in the game a lot longer than I have, but he and I think, have a lot of the same mindsets. So Micro and I will just get together and talk, and then we realize it's been 3 hours, and then we go, fuck!
And then, for some reason you ran late for a fucking concert that you had a VIP experience for, and
Listen, don't at me like that. Don't. How dare you? How dare you? This is my show. What the fuck?
oh, you brought me here, motherfucker. You should know.
Actual facts. But the way I know Micro is actually really funny. So Micro is another Iowa-based streamer like myself, and I never would have found him had it not been for something that we bitch about constantly to each other.
Oh
a
no.
Facebook Twitch marketing group.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I remember now. God damn it. Why did I?
So I.
You're gonna get me started. You're gonna rev that engine, and it's not gonna stop.
So I found Micro. He did a going live post basically like, hey, if you like, RPGs, you like adult humor, if you like, Magic the Gathering and D&D and things like that, you're probably gonna fit in really well with my channel. And you said something about being an Iowa-based streamer. And I was out getting Mexican with one of my friends. And so we had some margaritas.
Like you do.
Yeah. And because I've been scrolling Facebook in the car and I was like, oh, he's actually live right now. And I opened up your stream on my phone and hit the follow button. And my friend goes, because you said, Ginger Snaps, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome in. And then you proceeded to play your welcome video for new followers that I won't spoil. And my friend goes, oh, he said your name. And I was like, yeah, he did.
and that's so weird to think that people don't do that.
Right?
Oh God. Because, okay, I found a dude, I've been following this person on TikTok for a while. They seem really cool. They said they started a Twitch channel. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll swing over there and follow him. It's like,
Right.
just kind of help him out and check out, see how things are going. And I swing in. I was like, oh, cool. He's already got like 30 some people that are hanging out in his chat. And it's because he had, really leveraged his TikTok following, and he did a really good job of it. But when I got there, like I said, hi, and this motherfucker didn't respond to chat.
Oh no.
So he's like, it was one of those that he was basically in a Discord call with a friend, and like I popped in a couple other times just to silently kind of watch and judge, just to be like one of those like, you motherfucker,
right?
You have 30 people here, and you're not like, you're just talking to your friend and playing a game. You're not even being entertaining,
right?
Like every once in a while he'll tell like stories or whatever, which are entertaining. I'll give him that, but like, you're not interacting with your chat at all,
right?
And
it blows my mind.
That gives me a stroke,
right?
Because of how hard I have worked to get to that 20 and 30 area, and to see this person who basically, and like I said, yes, there's a little bit of jealousy, but the frustrating part is that they're not doing anything on that platform.
Right.
In my opinion.
Right.
That would warrant that type of viewership.
Yeah.
Like I might be missing something. Like maybe there's a tighter connection that he's made in like a Discord community or something. But it's just, that first appearance is that first impression is always, ow,
Right.
Why are people like, I understand you, like, people just want to support you. That's cool.
Right.
But like when somebody comes in and says, "Hey, this is me, by the way. Hey, man, I followed you on TikTok about a year ago. I've been watching you grow, and it's really, I like your content." Fucking nothing. And I would understand if his chat was just flying.
But when
My
it
message
doesn't
was the only.
move,
No,
it drives me
there's
nuts.
nobody talking in his chat. There was
Ugh.
literally the only person that said hi was one of his moderators. They said hi. I said hi. How's it going? Nothing. So like it was literally the most un-Twitch-like Twitch channel I'd ever been in.
Oh, it's like when you see someone bigger doing an Instagram live and the chat is just like not moving, but there are people there watching, and you're just like, you're just talking to nobody. No, you're not responding to anybody's messages. You're not doing any of that. You're just talking into the void. How do people fucking like how? I don't fucking get it.
Well, we do kind of get it because I know me personally, I streamed to almost nobody for 4 months because my dumbass didn't understand. Like literally, I didn't understand how Twitch worked. Like
Yeah.
have I ever told you my stupid ass origin story of why I even do this in the first place?
No, I haven't heard your origin story, but I'm keen to know now.
I liked watching Kriparian do Hearthstone videos on YouTube, right?
Uh-huh.
I go, I like Hearthstone. I am pretty decent at the game. I am bored. Why don't I also make YouTube videos? Then my drummer from the band started to, he brought it to my attention, after I had tried to edit a few videos. I'm like, holy shit, this is time consuming.
Yeah.
Like just to like, 15, a 10-minute video takes 5 hours to fucking get through and get a decent edit out of it.
Yeah.
And that was with like 3 hours of footage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking wild.
So he realizes, I'm a stay-at-home dad on top of, because when I started doing all of this, I was a stay-at-home dad. I was working I was working 2 jobs. I was a dad. My daughter had just been born.
Oh, okay.
My son was, let's see, they're 6 years apart. 6 years? Yeah, 6 years. Holy shit. Oh God. I'm feeling really old right now. Give me a second. I did. Let me go grab my khaki cargo shorts and my
and your
fucking
sandals
New
with
Balance
socks.
shoes. Oh yeah, that's more dad. That's more dad. But no, my drummer, he was doing Mario 64 speedruns, and he would just like stream for fun, right? Like it wasn't ever anything that he never had any dreams of, entertaining as a content creator. He just liked to turn on the stream, share something that he enjoyed doing with people, and he's like, dude, why don't you just stream Hearthstone? He goes, we don't have shows every weekend.
Right.
He goes, why don't you just like stream like when the kids are asleep and when everybody else goes to bed? He goes, you're up all night anyway. Why don't you
Okay.
He goes, why don't you stream? And I'm like, oh, well, this is gonna because then I'm not spending all hours of the day editing, missing time with my wife and kids. I'm like, yes, let me try it. And then, of course, my dumbass just started hitting the go live button, just thinking somebody's eventually going to find me at the bottom of the Hearthstone directory. For those of you that don't know, it usually has somewhere about 20,000 viewers in that channel. And usually you're going to have to scroll about at least 20 or 30 pages before you start seeing people with 5 viewers.
Right.
And here I am with 0 for months.
Yeah.
Talking to myself because I was also the studious type and, went online and looked up so many goddamn YouTube videos of what it takes and what I should be doing. And, and I was literally doing the talking to myself, narrating the gameplay, telling life stories to a fucking empty room.
Yeah.
And then I started to learn oh, hey, By the way, even though I absolutely hate the advice, now after learning a few different avenues of like growing as a creator, but like I had no social media presence outside like my Facebook account, which had a bunch of people that followed me because I was a musician, right?
Right.
So like I did have like a little bump, but like we're talking about people that would like they would come in, they would say hi, not get it because they're not gamers. They were like you know, it was just
Right.
I still hadn't made those human connections. Even as a musician, we weren't able to play a lot. And then of
Mm-hmm.
course our previous guitarist and singer was an arrogant asshole, and they would
Oh.
basically snub fans that wanted to talk to them.
Yeah.
So it made things difficult. But once I started, you know, really putting myself out there and using Twitter, for example,
Mm-hmm.
Twitter was one of those that was like, okay, I just started using Twitter and just started searching for people that were playing games I was into, right? Like I
Right.
wasn't even looking necessarily for streamers. I was just looking for people that were playing it, but just so happened because I was making content and frequently liking tweets and stuff. I was like, "Oh, I really need to interact. I need to be here."
Mm-hmm.
And then I started, you know, following some other streamers and started hanging out in their chats and making actual connections with people instead
Right.
of, you know, hi,
Right.
I'm
Right.
gonna lurk now
Right.
and do that into 1,000 channels, not calling anybody out
Yeah.
directly.
Well, you know, but that's the thing. Like,
Uh,
you and I made that human connection because I kept coming back to your channel.
I don't know why you fuckers keep coming back, but I'm appreciative that you do.
I mean, maybe we like it there. Quit shaming us. Don't kink shame me.
Great. Now I'm
But it
honey,
like
I'm a kink now.
I'm sure she'll love to hear that. But like it's one of those things of I like when you stream during the day, I may not be interacting, but I try to be present. I try to be there. I try to throw, you know, but I will silently support and not even tell you I'm there.
I do that a lot though too. The amount, and I know this because the amount of gifted subs I have. A lot of people aren't aware of this. I don't know if anybody's aware of this or has experimented. Um, the way the community gifting thing will work is it will always generally gift people that are at least in the chat first. In my
Uh-huh.
experience,
Yeah.
it will generally hit anybody that is in chat first.
Mhm. Or
Whether they're active or
regulars.
not, because I have seen people who were active and not get the gifted sub over somebody who's lurking in the channel and they got the gifted they got one of the gifted subs.
Right.
But I have some from channels I don't even know
Right.
because I will end stream, I will raid into somebody that I want to show support to or somebody new that I might want to check out because they're playing the same game as me, yada yada
Right.
yada. And then I'll open like two or three more tabs because I think I think four, I think is what Twitch kind of like says, hey, like
Yeah.
any more than that, and you're not. But it's not me wanting to say, hey, look at me, I'm supporting you because like I've told you, like we've had this conversation. I
Right.
hate to be thought of as the person that just shows up for the attention and to just be seen. That's why sometimes I just lurk and don't say a goddamn word because I know 2 minutes after I say hi, like last night when I showed up into your stream, all of a sudden I had fucking chaos break loose. That sometimes I just have to fucking disappear.
Yeah.
And then because I have the attention span of a goddamn dog in a squirrel park, I have forgotten that I was there
Yeah.
and I fall into something else.
Yeah.
And but I know what that looks like on the outside. Like this motherfucker just came in here. And like this is how I see it because I've had people do this to me.
Right.
Like I've had certain people do this to me like and it sucks because they were what I thought were friends.
Mhm.
And we had this conversation.
Yeah.
It wasn't a matter of me just like thinking too much about it. It was an active like, hey, let me check this shit out. Yeah, every time they do this, they go live like 20 minutes later. They're literally fishing for that raid.
Right.
It's like, ugh.
Well, and that's because we go live during the week around the same time.
Yep.
You go
And
live a little
that
bit
always
before
sucks
me.
too, because
And that's why I'm trying to be like, hello, here's some quiet support during the day because I can't be there. But like,
right.
we also have talked to excess about like, it's the quiet support because there's times where I've popped open my viewer list to like see if someone's there to say something to them.
Yep.
Or to see if they're still there, and I see your name,
Yes.
and I don't say a goddamn thing. I'm just like, aw, because it warms my heart to have that
Call out
silent
those,
support.
but Ninja says we need to call out them lurkers. That's how you're gonna grow.
Ninja, you're a fucking piece of shit. I also greatly dislike, and if people
God.
were really shitty about it, I greatly dislike the shout out that plays a clip from your channel.
See, I don't mind it. But I understand why people don't.
Because my community, and this, my community will clip things out of context in a way
same.
so they can fuck with it later.
Oh,
but then I
same.
never delete the clip. But I had some dude come in, part of it's my fault, but I had some dude come into my chat, didn't say a goddamn thing. I was playing a fairly serious game in a fairly serious moment, and he played a blurb that was something about, do you like anal penetration? And then he took the clip and took it to all of his fuckboy friends and played it live on stream and made fun of me and how I looked and all these things.
See, and what's great about that is that's this shit right here. This is the shit Twitch needs to be fucking worried about.
Right.
Because that is a terms of service. That is a break of the terms of service. 100%.
Yeah.
Immediately. Not only did you basically use somebody else's content without their permission.
Mm-hmm.
So, he used your likeness, and then he used it to bully and harass.
Right.
Like, those two things need to, like, oh no, we're worried about how many, we're sorry, we're removing the amount of views that you've had in the lifespan of your channel.
Right.
Because we feel that it's not indicative to shut the fuck up and fix some of these major issues. I don't get it.
Right.
Well, sorry. Like, that shit pisses me off, because I was bullied as a kid.
Same.
I was bullied to the point where I became a bully. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where I would do shitty things. I still to this day, like, if for some reason there is a hell, I will gaslight God all the way to hell. Because it's like, motherfucker.
Right.
But I there was some bad shit that I did as a kid. And I still to this day, I carry it around like a fucking sack of potatoes on my back. Like, it's just, it weighs me down, because it's like, I can't believe I did that shit. And when I see other people doing it, it's just like,
right.
Especially grown adults.
Yes.
That's the thing that, like, if I did this shit as an adult, fucking shoot me.
Right. Well,
but as a
the thing they didn't realize is that they fucked with the wrong bitch, because not only did I get all three partners who were involved, their accounts permanently deleted.
Nice.
But the stream team is gone. Everybody else had a temporary ban, and none of them came back.
now I feel better, because retribution.
Yes. See, that's the thing. You can fuck with me to a certain extent all you want. But if you fuck with me too much, oh bitch, because not only did I get their accounts deleted, I got their P.O. box shut down, and I also said, hey, Twitch, this is where this is the person, this is their name. I fully fucking know who they are. I'm gonna be nice because I'm not doxing nobody. But handle the fucking situation. And they were just like, okay, yep, nope, click. Like, you don't fuck with me because you will regret it. But I use my powers for good and not evil.
Right. No. Yeah, let's just say Look,
We know.
I'm an okay guy, but I drift between lawful evil and chaotic neutral. Like, and most people won't admit that.
Right.
Most people won't admit that.
Yes.
But like, actually, I probably drift even so far as to be neutral evil. Like
Yeah.
I'm generally a decent, upstanding citizen. I'm nice to people.
Right.
But like at the same time, I don't give a fuck. Like
Right.
there's a certain level where it's just like that's here's the line. We have now crossed it, and the only thing that I can ever say to anybody is thank God that I have kids.
Yeah.
As much as I might say, like, hey, don't have kids, especially if you have a dream. Like, work on that shit first, because you're gonna put that shit on the back burner, because I put my family first. You were talking about putting, there are certain things that come before the stream.
Mm-hmm.
That's the answer to any time somebody asks me, your stream is amazing. Why aren't there more people here? It's like, well, for one, I have canceled a lot of streams.
Yeah.
I am not consistent. I couldn't be. I have, my kids are sick. My wife needs to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work.
Right.
I have to cancel the stream to take care of the kids that are sick.
Yeah.
There's no way around that.
No.
And it took me so long to realize that, by the way. I used to beat myself up over it. It's like, why the fuck am I not? Why am I stuck? Why am I stuck? It's like, dude, you're not stuck. You're just making the best of what, like, and even then, I can't complain, because do you remember the thing we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
How we met?
Yep.
That Facebook group that's literally full of people that said, I saw somebody the other day literally had been doing it for almost 7 to 8 years. Like, so we're talking like early days of Twitch.
Yeah.
And they're like, I can't get more than 5 viewers.
Right.
It's like, holy shit.
Right.
Like, and there's that, like I said, there's that like lawful, neutral, evil brain that just goes, maybe you're not entertaining at all. I just want to, like, you just want to say it, but then the other voice in your head goes, no, don't be,
don't shit on someone's dream, but god damn it, sometimes you just need to.
You have to.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to. And I had done this, like, numerous people in that group, I posted my numbers one day. Every time you do this, I've noticed that group, it doesn't matter. You could post the most amazing stuff. All you got to do is be a beautiful person and post your numbers.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm not calling anybody out from that group, but I am at the same time.
Right.
You know exactly who I'm talking about too.
I fucking know.
I am so thankful for the 88 people that are in my chat. If you would like to know how to get this many people, just swing by the chat. It's like, that's how you get that many people in your chat.
Yes. Yes. That's like any watching fucking Ninja talk about, like,
oh my god, no. You see, and he's giving, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you, because like he's
right?
speaking from a point when he blew up in 2017, but he had been streaming for what, 5 years?
Yes.
So what he was doing is not the same platform that he grew on.
No.
The platform he has now is a business platform. He needs to worry about sponsorships, looking, making sure he's marketable. And that's his job now. His job is no longer interacting with people.
No.
Those people, I hate to say it, those people are like the fucking customers at Walmart. If Walmart has to kick out one customer because he won't care.
Right.
He doesn't care.
Right.
Most of his money, like the amount of money that people still throw at him, it's like, that is crazy, in my opinion, because do you know how much this dude is making in brand deals?
Right.
And yet still, hey Ninja, love your content, here's a $10 tip. It's like, dude, fucking go buy a new, I don't know, fuck, you can't buy anything for $10. Go buy some McDonald's for fuck's sake. Don't.
Right. Go buy yourself a nicer drive-through meal. Like, that's but the thing is, like, because I've been watching, I fell into a hole of Moist Critical, and I usually am not a big, like, oh yeah, let me watch some of Charlie's content. That's typically not me, but
I don't even know who this is. I'm sorry, I'm just like,
no. Okay, so Moist Critical, he's got like 10 million subs on YouTube. He streams on Twitch. He's a big, but he grew up with, like, literally grew up with the platforms. He's like 5 years younger than me, so closer to 10,
Right,
you know.
right.
But like Charlie is very laid back. He's very matter of fact. He doesn't get into drama very often, but like it happens sometimes. But
That's
he,
just going to happen with a platform that size.
right.
It's
And watching his streams, he'll interact with chat a little bit, but usually he's not super engaged with his chat. But people are coming in and dropping like 5 gifted subs and 10 gifted subs. Like his sub alert, if you ever watch any of his stream footage, his sub alert almost never stops going off. It's
really
constant. And
Jesus.
Charlie is not a small creator, but like it's fucking constant. And like I don't sub to the Moist Criticals. I don't sub on Twitch to the Markipliers and the Jacksepticeye's and all those guys because
Nope.
they don't need my money. I
No.
would rather sub to my friend whose 1 year anniversary on Twitch is this weekend.
Which is who? Let's give a shout out.
Good old
Come on.
Meep. Meep has been on the channel or has been on the podcast, and Ree, who is someone I'm hoping to get on the podcast at some point. Like my friends who are
I need
celebrating.
links, by the way.
I will.
I need links. I need links and dates.
You got it. We're doing 2 subiversaries this upcoming weekend. They will have passed by the time this episode comes out, but like the people who listen to the podcast, they know. You can find all their links on the website too, because I'm like that. But like
You're such a kind person.
I know. I'm such a
Don't get a big head about it, goddammit.
I'm
It's
such a
just a
kind
con-
bitch. It's great. But like I would rather spend $100 in bits to just sprinkle throughout the day than to gift 5 subs to a Jacksepticeye or a Markiplier or a Moist Critical because they don't need my money. My friends don't need my money. But if I'm going to put my money towards something, if I have cash burning a hole in my pocket, I'm going to support my friends. So like me just like randomly like, I see a hype train is going in Micro's chat. I'm just going to gift 3 subs. Like it's I would rather support my friends and do the free superficial support, like, because free superficial meaning like it doesn't cost you any money, and that
lurking, retweeting a tweet, liking a fucking tweet. Like
that's huge.
I just posted the other day on Twitter about how much like you don't understand. Like for me to have the idea that I am basically playing a game and I'm getting 20 to 30 people a day who get to come over to quote unquote my house and watch me play games and be stupid and talk to me and with each other. Like I didn't even have to offer beer. There's like, this party isn't, you know what I mean? I didn't offer you free beer to show up to my party. You guys are just here. And as somebody who grew up being bullied and pushed around and made fun of all the time, and felt like an outsider, like even in my own friend group, I always felt like I didn't fit. And just to wake up in the morning and see like 10 people liked my TikTok, I was like, yay!
Dude.
But at the same time, hey, TikTok, fix your shit. Because I've got almost 32,000 followers and you show it to 0.9% of, like, yeah. Like, it's because I do variety stuff, though, when you're talking about... and that's the other thing you have to remind yourself. If you're out there and you're making content, if you are on a platform that is algorithmically driven, you have to remember that you either play by the algorithm's game, and some people do that and they do it well. But if you can't, if you're like me, and you really, really, really... can't stick to one topic, you're all over the place. You're as my mom would say, a fart in a skillet.
I love that.
Yeah, she would always call me a fart in a skillet because I was always doing something different. I was always doing something new. I was never on the thing. You have to realize that those numbers are not indicative of how many people do or don't like your content. Because chances are it's just not being seen. Which is what always drives me nuts. Yet again, falling back on that, like, a lot of Twitch streamers grow by quote unquote making content on other platforms. And the ones that always preach that are either
Mm-hmm.
ones, there's two categories of people that preach this, okay? One, it's the people that their majority of their content off Twitch is how to grow on Twitch content,
Right.
which then attracts Twitch streamers. And
Yep.
then those Twitch streamers go to the channel generally either to try to be seen by other people
Mm-hmm.
or to get acknowledgement from the streamer themselves to try to grow their channel. Like that, you're literally, it's bottom feeding in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's absolute bottom feeding, and they don't like, they don't see it. They don't see how they're being used
Mm-hmm.
because all they do is they show up with like, well, there's 130 other people in this chat and
Yeah.
we're all having fun and we're talking with each other and we're making friends. It's like, yeah, but you're not out there making content.
Right.
You're not doing the thing that you want to do. You're supporting somebody else for it's the look how I grew. I grew to, partner status.
Right.
But you grew there by telling people. It was the fake it before they made it.
Yeah.
They pretended to be an expert, and then their claims of being an expert are validated because of the people that they attracted from the little fish at the bottom of the barrel were attracted to come and nibble,
Right.
and they all pile in at once.
Well,
And then it doesn't matter at that point. There's 130 people. You now have that social proof
mm-hmm.
where you know what you're talking about because you're growing your channel. And the number one advice that those people give is to make content elsewhere. But what they're not telling these people is if you are making content related to your actual content, if you are not sitting live on Twitch teaching people how to grow
Right.
and growing a community of Twitch streamers, which yet again, it's support for support. I could go on about how this is one of those parallels to the music business and how, like, oh, you got to support local music. So all the local bands support the other local bands. And then you
Uh-huh.
realize that the only people at the shows are the other bands.
Yep.
There's no consumers of music. These are just people wanting their chance to play with the other bands that are there. Like, there's no growth in that scene. That's the Des Moines music scene. I said it. Come fucking at me. If you're an Iowa musician, you can't prove me wrong, and I will die on this hill.
It's the same in the stand-up scene, though. Like, I did stand-up comedy.
It's entertainment.
Yeah, for
It's-
years. And I caught up with some local comedians because at work we just got done filming at a local comedy club here in Des Moines. Shout out to Teehees and AJ Simmons and Alex Carter and Tom McGrain and their podcast No Sleep. I fucking love you guys. You guys are great. I do big appreciate you guys, and AJ, thank you for use of the venue. But like it's catching up with local comedians. They're all like, "Hey, so what have you been doing?" And it was, "Hey, what have you been doing? We haven't seen you around telling horrible jokes." And I'm like, "Well, actually, I've been streaming and I've been doing a lot of charity work and all this kind of stuff." "Oh, really? What have you been doing?" "Oh, in December, we raised $11,000 for Stand Up to Cancer." And they're like, "Wait, what?" Because they see me
Yep.
going somewhere else and doing something and being great when all they want to fucking do is jerk each other off. Now, do I love a lot of the stand-up folks as people? 100%.
Oh yeah,
you-
yeah, totally. I love all the, like, 98% of the musicians I ran into, they're really nice.
Yeah,
They're genuine people, but they get wrapped up in the biz.
yeah.
It's not a fault of theirs. It's just the nature of it.
Well, and that's why, like, this podcast has always been with the intent of showcasing a friend in my, like, in the community, whether it's one of Druid's friends, one of my friends, whatever, showcasing them. We've had artists, we've had musicians, we've had, it's primarily been other streamers, but it's just showcasing the people who are around and who maybe either don't get the spotlight or they have a bigger spotlight and they can, we can shoot the shit about whatever. Like, this has always been not necessarily a marketing opportunity, But letting people...
But it is.
It is.
But it is.
It
It
is.
is.
I give people a moment at the end of every podcast to shout themselves out and promote anything they want to promote. But I want people to get to know a little bit better this person that's joining us, or to escape for 5 minutes from whatever is fucking burrowing around in their brain holes. And you know the fact that it's been a lot of streamers has, like, you wouldn't know unless you listen to the Meep episode that Meep was a huge, like, she's a lover of the fucking emo alternative metal music. You wouldn't get that from her.
Right.
But through that, we figured it out. You wouldn't have learned about me that I think I have aphantasia.
No, I would no.
Like, you wouldn't know these things until the conversation ends up fucking happening. But when you're in a group when you're a musician and you're in a group of musicians, or a comedian in a group of comedians, or streamers who are, talking about their fucking numbers, nobody wants to say, "Hey, I heard your mom was sick. How's your mom doing?"
Right.
Nobody wants to fucking get to know. Like, walking into your house and you're like, "Hey, you want to see the stream room?" And I looked at your office. I looked at your desk, and then I turned directly my attention to the magic cards, and I was just like, because we have that connection about trading card games. I'm Pokemon, you're Magic. I used to play Magic. Like, I don't anymore. You have all my cards. I hope some of them were you keep saying that some of them help complete a set, but I just, like, it's that thing of, like,
Well, they
I know
did.
they're going to be in a better home than sitting in the trunk of my car or in a tote in my closet. Like, but you can't, it's so hard to get people to pull their heads out of their own asses and everything that they want to do, and everything they want to brag about and talk about, to just, like, get to fucking know somebody. And thankfully,
Yep.
my group that I talk to all the time and I play games with all the time, we've gotten to know each other a lot better. And you and I, just through, like, the random, like, 4-hour conversations that we have, like, we've gotten to know each other pretty well. And,
I
like,
would like to think so.
I consider you a friend. That's why I just fucking showed up to your house and was just like, "Hi, I'm here to get shit, motherfucker." Hello,
You're gonna
kids.
take my stuff.
Hello, children. Like,
Careful with that shit.
no, that was not, that wasn't supposed to be Chef. That was supposed to be Three Dog from Fallout. But, like,
Oh yeah, shit.
you felt comfortable enough that I could be in your home around your kids.
Yep.
Like, and your kids, you can definitely tell that they're your kids, and I fucking love it.
No, you can't just tell that by looking at them.
By looking at them, by listening to them talk, trying to carry on a conversation.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But, it's, and, like, there are people from your community that have, like, started coming and hanging out around mine more.
Yep.
And I love it, because that means that there's been a genuine connection somewhere, a reason that they want to come hang out.
Yep. That's what I that's what I hope for anybody, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's just kind of what you want. You want them to legitimately want to be there
Yeah.
for, whether it's the entertainment or if it's the, it's just one of those things that I want, and I've said this before, I would rather somebody be there for the right reasons. And I've even said it on Twitter, I've said it on streams, and it might have lost me, some potential viewership. But I told people, it's like, look, if you are coming to my stream for the sole and only purpose that you hope I may at some point swing by your stream or potentially raid you, get the fuck out.
Right.
Like, I don't want you here.
Right.
I don't want my numbers being muddled by by nepotism. I don't want people wanting, well, not nepotism. It's more of a, like sycophant behavior where they're
Yeah.
kind of brown nosing because of who you
Uh-huh.
are. I don't want that because that's not going to tell me that I'm doing a good or bad job at what I'm doing.
Right.
Like, yet again, it goes back to the band supporting bands thing. It's like, are we
Mm-hmm.
really doing a good job? Or is it because we're networked and we've played some bigger shows that you guys are showing up here?
Right.
Like, what is, like, I don't like that.
Well,
Because I've already got enough imposter syndrome as it is
right.
to go around to not have to deal with fake ass people.
Right. Well, it was so funny because I stopped at your house on the way to see the Crank gameplay show.
Yep.
And
Still can't believe you fucking.
don't stop it. Okay, I feel the disappointment. I don't need that dad energy right now. um, but in the show, I'm not gonna give away a whole lot of spoilers, but looking at it from a content creator's perspective, I see a lot of what he had to say. He speaks about like, you guys will think that no matter what I do, it's fucking perfect. And to drive his point home, he crouches down on the stage and grabs a water bottle and just takes a drink, and the crowd fucking goes wild.
And that kind of falls on that final performance of Bo Burnham before he left.
Yeah.
That same thing, like, he broke character. He was literally telling the audience that you cause me so much fucking anxiety and that you'll basically fucking just sit there and laugh and jerk me off and tell me what I want to hear and not be real with me because of who I am and what I've accomplished. And
Uh-huh.
that's scary. That's
Right.
like, I don't think people realize that aren't entertainers, that just like, because you have entertainers and then you have NPCs. I hate
Right.
to say that, but like, to an entertainer, everybody else is an NPC
Right.
that's not an entertainer. And it doesn't mean that, you can eventually befriend the NPC. They've got fantastic stories
Right.
that they've got, but it's so funny to say that because people are like, oh, NPC. It's like, but at the same time, this is a world where everybody has a fantastic backstory. It's just like, who's sharing it, right?
Right.
Like, I don't mean to negate like their existence, because their existence does matter.
Absolutely.
But it's basically just two boxes, is what I'm saying. Is
Mhm.
that people who are entertainers view the world slightly different and have slightly different experiences than people that just don't. Because your average Joe doesn't typically have 5 or 10 people that want to just kiss their ass because of who they are.
Right.
And like, I guess, like, maybe if you're in upper management or something, but again, those aren't normal people.
No. No, they're
that
not.
are in upper management.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where like and you can always tell when it's an NPC trying to be an entertainer, but they have no idea what it's like to be an entertainer. So when they come across their first band of hate for doing something stupid, they
Yeah,
fucking collapse in on themselves.
yeah, and that's the thing too. That when I was just talking about the stream Facebook group,
Uh-huh.
like, those people that only have like 5 people, it's like, you don't know what it's like. It's
But
like, once you're out there, it's like,
uh-huh.
you're out there. You are out there for everybody.
Yep.
And I don't think a lot of, like, one of the biggest things that I tell people is like, look, if you're going to get into this and you are not stable mentally, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because it will destroy you. And not just the act of doing it, but the by proxy, by just creating, and then you're going to, yet again, like I was trying to say earlier, even though that the numbers aren't indicative of your value of as an entertainer,
Mhm.
you're still going to feel it.
Yeah.
You're still going to go to bed wondering, wow, why yesterday, in the last 3 or 4 days, why was the last 3 or 4 days of streaming, I had 20 to 30 people chilling like always, and then yesterday I had 15.
Right.
Your brain, it doesn't matter. You will, on even the smallest of levels, you'll take some subdual damage. I don't know if 5th edition D&D has subdual damage anymore. I'm old. So I don't even know if that's a thing anymore.
I don't know.
But you'll take subdual damage,
Yeah.
which is basically non-lethal damage.
Yeah.
You'll take a little bit of it, and it's daily.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those like, it's like, son of a bitch, this TikTok only got 100 views. Like I said, you have to, especially when it becomes the algorithm, have to separate that.
Yeah.
But you're still not going to entirely.
Right.
At least I haven't. Like, you're going to want to improve.
Yes.
Every time something like that happens, you're going to want to improve. You're going to want to push. You want to do this. But if you're not mentally in a good place, I don't recommend it. Right. Even though it helped me, because one of the things that I suffered with was social anxiety. Yep. Like actually talking to people. Like you probably wouldn't be able to tell it.
Mm-mm.
But especially, I played in front of crowds of 600-700 people. Right. As a band, like large, opened up for Buck Cherry, and Valor Ballroom was stuffed from wall to wall.
Right.
That never bothered me, but I could not, for the life of me. I failed my college speaking class because I literally couldn't even get through the door.
Oh.
Because the thought of speaking in front of an audience, in front of people, I would literally be in the bathroom throwing up.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't do it. I literally could not bring myself to walk through that doorway to that classroom. I couldn't do it. They're like, oh, but you have to get your, computer networking security degree.
Yeah.
And of course I'm going into computer networking and security because I don't want to deal with people in large groups and stuff. But why am I doing this?
Right.
So I didn't do it. I fucking dropped the fuck out and regret it ever since. But it's just one of those things that streaming helped my social anxiety. Yeah. Because there are certain things, not all, but there are certain mental health issues that need to be dealt with head on.
Yes.
There are some things where avoidance is good, and there's some things where avoidance is going to be the worst thing ever for you.
Yep.
And for me, avoiding social interaction, avoiding those situations that made me anxious, made my anxiety worse.
Well, and I dealt with a lot of my problems with exposure therapy, but not in a controlled environment. I did it on my own, but I needed to. Right. I don't recommend that for any.
No.
No. Don't do what I did, because I'm a jackass. But I had to use exposure therapy, and I had to do it in a specific way because the sound of gunshots used to make me drop to the floor.
Oh shit.
Because I've been shot at. That's just part of my story. That's part of my history. That's part of my life, and I don't shy from it. But I did a show in college. I was stage managing a show, and we fired a blank. There was a gunshot that happened in the show, and we fired a blank at the ceiling. And when a specific line would come, I would take off my headset. I'd say to my assistant, take control, and I walked out of the building. I would hear the gunshot. I would take 5 deep breaths. I'd come back inside, put my headset back on, and take control of the show again. But I had to do that, and I had to stay close enough to hear the gunshot to work my way through it. So by the time the last show was done, I just moved farther into the wings. And so now I can actually hold a gun and fire a gun and be by a firing range and not freak out. But it took years of me doing stuff like that.
Yep.
To where now I was in Detroit, and I was staying at Toast House, and there was some distant gunfire, and I didn't freak out. I was fine. I was just like, oh, okay, there's some gunfire, no big deal. It wasn't near us. We were on the 8th floor. We were fine. And it took many years for me to get that way.
Right.
But
yeah, traumatic experiences, they stick with you, and that's not something easy to deal with.
No, and but I did exposure therapy in my own way because I couldn't afford to pay a therapist to actually help me
Same,
through these things, so I just did it
same.
on my own. Kids, don't do it. Go seek professional
No,
help.
no.
Uh, but
But yet again, I and this yet again, it's going to be bad advice, but at the same time, I feel at least this, you at least need to take control of something
yes.
um in your life, because nobody's going to do that for you.
Mm-mm.
That was one of the things that was the hardest pill for me to swallow, as a person with shut up phone, severe debilitating anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Was this is a product of my conditioning to my environment over decades,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not born anxious.
No.
We become anxious because we had learned coping mechanisms over decades of exposure in certain environments.
Right.
So you're like, especially when it comes to my anxiety, and I need to speak from this because this is me, not you, anybody listening. Like, this is going to be different for everybody, but my anxiety was built off of the bullying, the harassment,
Mm-hmm.
the kind of gaslighting I got as a child because I was adopted, and it's one of those, like, I was always treated like I was broken. So I always kind of
Mm-hmm.
got my way and was spoiled a little bit and didn't have to think for myself. And it was one of those things that, like, these small things just added up to me just being constantly anxious, because that's what my body and mind had learned and conditioned itself to do and react to certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
And it was up to, like, the key component isn't like what Ginger was saying, like you were saying, you don't have to do this alone. And if you can afford help, fucking do it, because
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot easier when you have somebody else to help. But I always attributed it to, like, you can't blame the world for the problem, though.
Right.
You can't blame everything, because nobody is making you do this.
Yeah.
And I learned this even harder because now my son's growing up. He's getting older. He'll be 12 later this year.
Oh fuck.
He's dealing with, anxiety. He's getting bullied for his weight. There's
Mm-hmm.
tons of stuff there. But the thing I have to keep telling him is that, buddy, we can tell you all the things that you can do. We can help you out. But you are the only one that can choose to improve, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yes,
You,
because
you
I tell people you cannot make a change. You can say all you want. I'm going to go work out. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to eat healthier. But until you're actually ready to make that change and you've
Yep.
decided that you're truly going to make the change,
Yep.
it doesn't happen. I had to find a reason to get off drugs. I had to find a reason to
Yep.
quit smoking. I had to
Yep.
I have to find a reason to go to the gym because I want to go to the gym. I desperately want to go, but I have such a hard time getting up in the fucking morning to go to
Yeah.
the gym
Oh,
before work.
yep.
And really, what it boils down to is I need to stop making excuses and either go to the
That,
gym before I go to bed
yeah.
or force my sleep schedule to change and get up and go to the gym before everything else during the day. Like, I just have to find that excuse and or like that reason, and
It,
I'm about there.
it's a shift in mindset is what
Mm-hmm.
it is. Because, like for me with the anxiety thing, like I could have blamed the world
Right.
for, it's like the world is stressful. Yeah, like there's shit, like, yes, the world is stressful. The world events suck right now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the truth is, they always have.
Yes.
The thing is that you focus on it more.
Uh-huh.
It's a mindset thing. I hated to say this. There was a girl that I was been friends with this person since, like, junior high. Because we're Iowans and we had something called junior high.
Right.
At least I did. Was it just us?
So
Shit.
we called it a middle school, but it was a junior high. Before
Gotcha.
they have junior highs in Ohio.
Okay. So it's more a thing of the past than a thing of region in, but no, how do I put this? I could have literally blamed the world for these issues. I'm trying to like backtrack because my brain's like um middle school, high school, junior high. Well, okay, there's a girl. Right. I'm there. I made it. We made it back to the right
Yes.
track. But she deals with depression all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she complains that none of her medication is helping.
Right.
I hate to be that person, but at the same time, I understand part of it is a chemical imbalance. Depression is a thing that sucks. I
Mm-hmm.
have it. I've dealt with it. But at the same time, when all you do is focus on the negative aspects of every day, it's going to make it worse.
Yep.
And there is some aspect to your mental health to faking it to make it. Because if there was one thing I learned is sometimes, and it sounds so cliche, it sounds so fucking stupid. I hated this shit. I hated this shit before I actually sat down, listened to some self-help books, and literally, like, instead of just taking it for like one book's word, I listened to like 5 or 6 self-help books
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like created my own little thing that worked for me. And I'm emphasizing this. It worked for me because it was something that I had to do for myself. Yet
Right.
again, back on that same topic. But one of the dumbest things that I'd ever heard, and it was so cliche and I hated it, was like, even if you don't feel like smiling, like just crack a smile, like just
Mm-hmm.
a little one, because it actually, it literally scientifically does something to your fucking brain.
Yep.
It changes, like, there's something about smiling or just taking a second to think about something that makes you slightly happy, even if it's just the dumbest thing on the planet.
Yeah.
Because when you think that you can't get better, you can't.
Right.
You've literally set yourself up a limit. If you literally think tomorrow there's no way in hell that you're going to be less anxious than you are today, tomorrow, you're not going to be.
Right.
Because you don't believe, like, the brain's power to lock you in its own prison is scary.
Mm-hmm.
You can lock yourself into the darkest, scariest place and be stuck there because you're convinced that that's what you deserve. That's what life has handed you. The universe hates you, so this is what you get. And this is what they mean about like having a positive winning mindset about shit. It
Mm-hmm.
sounds so stupid and so cliche, but it really is.
Yeah.
You know, the thing that you have to realize is just because you're thinking positive doesn't mean that like it doesn't mean that it still will happen, but it unlocks the potential for it to happen.
Yeah. And
If that makes any sense. Because
it's
like you're not guaranteed anything.
no.
I'm not guaranteed to wake up tomorrow, start stream and have anybody there.
Right.
There's no guarantee.
Right.
But if I can continually tell myself, you know what, today is the day. They ain't nobody gonna be here. I might as well cancel stream. Well, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point.
Right.
You know, you have to make those positive steps, even though they seem stupid. Like
But
just like, hey, just if even if just getting out of bed for 20 minutes
mm-hmm.
and like walk around the block once.
I
That might sound really stupid.
but it's huge.
It's
It's
huge, especially if
huge.
you haven't got, especially if you're like, you're borderline agoraphobic, you're starting to like not leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can manage to even step out that front door
That's
that you haven't stepped out of in a week,
yeah.
that's huge progress.
Yeah.
One of the things that I will, out of all the self-help books that I've ever like listened to, 2 of them really stand out to me, and that was "You Are a Badass" by Jen Sincero. I will always recommend that book to people because she just rang true to me.
My roommate
Kind of
almost bought that this week.
middle aged. You
Yeah.
know, she's kind of middle aged. She's an old ex musician. She
Yeah.
played punk music like I did. There was a lot
Fuck
to
yeah.
relate to this, and where she really saw that all of her shortcomings were because she didn't believe that she deserved anything good.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one was Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Mm.
And what happened was, and the reason this book resonated with me so much is because this was like talking about like self-improvement on any in anything. Like, I feel fantastic because in the last 2 weeks, every week, I have uploaded a YouTube video.
Yeah.
I have not been able to do that, but I feel fantastic. Is that huge? Not maybe to some people, but some people to it, like, that may be impossible. Like 2 videos in a month, 2 videos in a year. What the fuck?
Right.
Like for some people, that's huge. And what Atomic Habits teaches is that constant push for a 1% increase.
Mm-hmm.
You want to lose weight? It's not about losing 60 pounds. It's about that one time that you went to the kitchen, instead of grabbing a snack that you really don't really need, just grab a glass of water and slam it down.
Yep.
Like that 1% increase, you'll realize later that you feel better, you feel accomplished, that you didn't do that thing that has been controlling you. And even if it was the one time, even if it was that one time, that one little increase, because there's nothing. One of the greatest things that was in that book was, actually, I don't even remember if it was in the book, or if it was just something after like years of talking about this book that I've just kind of placed my own like vision of it. But like, think you're trying to climb a goddamn mountain.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about like, I'm going to climb this mountain, and then every time you slide back a couple feet, you're like, God, I'm never going to get up this goddamn mountain. And you won't, because that mindset will continuously happen every time you make because you're trying to do the 100%. You want to do the 100%. The top of the mountain, that's the 100%. I want to get there. But you don't get there by getting there. You get there by the 1% incremental increase in the height that you have climbed the mountain.
Just because you lose a battle doesn't mean you lose the war.
That's exactly it.
You have to focus on the fucking battle that's in front of you.
And if people focus too much on the war, you are going to lose. Because if you lose, like, say today, I did really good. I did a little bit of exercise. I ate a little bit less, and I feel really good about it because that's the progress towards the weight loss that I want to have. Like, say that's what we're doing. But if tomorrow, if I just sit on my ass and like take a day and like eat a fucking pint of ice cream because I was like feeling in my feels that day.
Yeah.
You only lost that 1% increase that you had from yesterday. And this is how I quit cigarettes. I used vaping to quit cigarettes, and I was glad that you mentioned that earlier, because that's a huge part of this, and why I believe so much that it's working. I used to be a 2 to 2.5 pack a day smoker.
Oof.
And we told ourselves we're gonna stop smoking, when our son can no longer be, when we can no longer lock ourselves in the bathroom and have a cigarette, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna quit when he starts crawling, and we're gonna say, we're gonna quit making those excuses when we really didn't want to quit.
Yep.
Because we were addicted to it. But what it took was, every time that I wanted that cigarette, instead of getting it, let's not do that again. This one cigarette, just this one, that after meal cigarette that you have after lunch, can you wait 20 more minutes before you have that? Try it.
Yep.
Okay, you made it 20 minutes. You made it 20 minutes without that cigarette. Can you do 5 more?
Right.
Just 5 more minutes. Oh, dude, look at that. You've made it 25 minutes. Can you do 10 more?
Yeah.
10 more minutes before you have that cigarette? Can you do that? And then that got me down to about a pack a day. And then I realized the amount of money that me and my wife were spending on cigarettes. I'm like, look, a lot of people are getting into vaping now. It's becoming a mainstream thing. It's readily accessible in our area. I have done the math. We will spend an extra $100 this month in order to get the mods, get the tanks, get the juice.
Right.
And then after the cigarettes are gone, they're gone.
Yep.
And then we started to use the vaping, and then we literally stopped smoking. There was no more cigarettes after, like, my wife had been smoking since she was 13.
Yeah.
You know, so she a lifelong smoker.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just one of those things. And then eventually we both had quit vaping for a while just by doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Putting a little bit, you know, starting, because now they don't have zero nicotine juices for fucking some odd goddamn reason.
Right.
Well, we know why. It's
Well,
good business. It's good business to keep your customers coming back for more.
yeah.
Says the guy who keeps cutting his drugs just a little bit and a little bit more and then kills people.
Fuckers.
But no, it's just one of those things that, like, we didn't vape for years. Then my wife got a management job. She got super stressed out, and then she's like, you know what? I can't do this. I need to have some
release.
And so she brought it back, and then of course, you know, I don't blame her for it. I was my own weakness. She had it, and I'm like, yeah, let's go.
I kind of want some of that. Give me some of that.
But at the same time, I have to realize, like, and I will never be one of those things. Look, if it didn't originally belong in your body, it probably doesn't belong there.
Right.
So, like, don't do it. But, like, if you're smoking, switch to vaping. Fucking do it. If you can do it, do it. Because is it healthy? Probably not. Do we have the long-term studies? Not really.
No.
But I know from my personal experience that I can now go up a flight of stairs without feeling like somebody's sitting on my chest.
Yeah.
I don't feel like absolute garbage
Right.
unless I over nicotine vape and then force myself into a panic attack because I was sitting there playing a card game on my computer, not paying attention to how much I was using my vaporizer, which is really the, like, have you noticed that that's the whole marketing, like anti-vaping marketing anymore, is that it's dangerous. It's like, yeah, it is dangerous because you can give yourself a severe nicotine overdose, which can then cause panic attacks, heart arrhythmias, and stuff like that because you're not regulating it. You're not able to measure it like a cigarette, right?
Right.
Like that's the issue, and that's why I still got like little weird like adrenaline spikes and panic attacks at night because I'm bored and I'm trying not to eat.
So then you puff on that vape, and then
so
you're
I
just
puff
like,
on my
fuck.
And then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, my heart is fluttering. Ooh, my face is flush. Ooh, I've had too much of that. Let's set that aside. And that's another reason why I'm kind of like upset that I can't get zero nicotine stuff to like cut my stuff down at night with. But I guess it's just time to learn to make my own, right?
Yeah. Well, I quit smoking when I had to move out of my old apartment because this is a non-smoking property that I live on technically.
You had a reason. I'm either
reason.
Homeless and I get to have my smoky smokes, or I gotta do something.
Right. And so I bought, because I knew I wanted to just quit, period, because I had been off of nicotine for probably 4 years. I smoked for 4 years. I was off it for a few years. And then when my mom did her second divorce and I had to go back home to go to court, when I was in college, like, to stand with my mom and be like, nah, he's a piece of fucking shit. Like, I started, like, the night she called me that it was all going down, I walked my ass down to the Rite Aid and bought a pack of cigarettes and walked back and paced in front of my boyfriend's house smoking. Chain smoking, and his mom saw me later and was like, I didn't know you smoked, and I was like, I didn't, and she goes, okay. I did really well.
Put it down.
Right? I did really well of only doing, like, I would buy like a Black and Mild or a Swoosher or something that it's like, this is too much to smoke the whole thing and I can't just like fucking chug on it. Like, I would do that on purpose. But then I was working at a gas station. Cigarettes were available. It was just easy. And
that's the other. But my wife manages it again. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's
and
problematic.
You know, I got to a point where it's like, okay, I'm having a cigarette after meals, and right when I get in my car, and like you
were making any excuse to have a cigarette.
Yes.
It was a ritualized thing. It became ritualized.
And
I just had me some good sex, gotta have that cigarette.
Yes.
I just ate a meal, gotta have a cigarette.
Yes.
I just got in my car, gotta have a cigarette. Oh,
yes.
I just got out of my car. You know what? Let's have a cigarette on the way up to the Walmart.
Right.
Like, there was always a reason to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't miss that at all. I don't miss that at all. It was, oh my
And
God.
so I bought, because I didn't want to stick to vaping,
Right?
I bought a Juul because I knew it was fucking disposable and I could just fucking
Ooh.
get rid of it. And I wasn't
Ooh.
gonna be like, oh, yes, give me the tinglies. It was, let me work my way off of the nicotine part of it.
Yeah.
And I was in Ohio visiting family. And I left my Juul charger at my mom's house, like 3 hours away from where I was. So I may have indulged in a little bit of an herbal substance. And,
No, we can't talk about that here.
that's,
7 years. It's been 7 years and we're just going to stick to it.
yes, it was 7 years ago. And so I grabbed one of my dad's cigarettes, and I had a few cigarettes, and I was like, oh God, I don't miss this, but I needed the nicotine.
Ugh.
And I flew back home and never charged my Juul.
Oh no.
I haven't had nicotine since I was home, like visiting family home, not
Just
living
here
in Iowa.
recently?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I haven't had nicotine at all since that last cigarette I smoked before I walked into the Cleveland airport to fly home.
Damn.
So I have been sans
I
nicotine. Now, did I fucking want a cigarette so badly driving out to your house and then farther to the venue for that crank show? Absolutely. But I didn't break. And that for me, I'm like, okay, I feel good about this. This is a win because having a cigarette when I was in Ohio visiting family, I lost that 1%. But coming back and not, I've gone past that. I'm moving up the mountain of being healthier by completely getting rid of it all. And it's like, okay, now I'm ready to tackle the next thing. And I started and then I slid back down the hill and I'm working my way back up. But like that's just part of it. And
Yep.
folks who have depression and anxiety and stuff, they see the mountain and that's all they see.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, right? That is kind of the whole reason behind all of this. When you only lose 1%, it doesn't hurt as much.
Right.
That's the whole key. That's the whole key. When you get halfway up the mountain and you lose 1%, you're like, fuck that. Look at how much is behind me.
Right.
Fuck that 1%. I'll make it up tomorrow. I'll make it up the next day.
Yeah.
The whole key is to just constantly be in that mindset to make that change when you have the willpower to do it.
Right.
If you have a day where you like you said, you didn't become a smoker. You didn't become a smoker again. You had a relapse for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
That moment does not negate how far you had come.
Right.
And how far you were wanting to go.
Right.
But it's always that next step.
Uh-huh.
You see out in the horizon. What are they? There was actually somebody. Wasn't there a guy that survived out in the woods? Because he literally is like, look, the only thing that I thought about was the next footfall.
Yeah.
The next putting the foot in front of the other one, the foot in front of the other one, the foot in front of the other one. This is the only thing. Like, I think they were like freezing to death or some shit.
Yeah.
And they're just like, the only thing that got me to civilization from the middle of fucking nowhere was the idea of just put that next step. Don't think about like you're never going to get there. How far is it? It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
The next step is the only thing that matters, and that can be applied to anything. Yet again, are you a musician trying to make it? Are you an entertainer trying to get out there? It doesn't matter if you had a bad show or a bad stream or you know whatever. As long as you learn to not let that hinder you, and that one bad experience becomes your whole personality and your whole existence.
Right.
And just make that next goddamn step. Because that's what matters.
Yeah.
I've been on a plateau forever, but you know what? My next step was like, look, I've plateaued on Twitch. I just need to realize like how far I've come.
Right.
How many more people would look at what I've got and go, holy fuck, man, how?
Right.
I am somebody's top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And you have to remind yourself that. Like, there's always something that, it could be worse, it could be better.
Mm-hmm.
But if you only focus on like, oh man, it could be so much better, why am I not doing this? Use that as a motivator.
Right.
Use that to motivate and move forward. But don't let it hold you back from doing, don't let it hold you back by not having what you want in the moment. And do not forget of what you had previously and what you have now, because there's a huge difference there, in my opinion. That, God, my brain is just all over the place now because it's just one of those things. Because I was there, I was the person that held himself back and just thought so little of and stopped. I couldn't focus except for where I wanted to be and what I knew I could do, instead of focusing on the things, the little steps that could get me to where I want to be.
So I have a question that's sort of adjacent to this whole train of thought.
Yeah.
Have you had someone message you after you've, either had a private conversation or you shared something a little bit more personal or deep on like Twitch or Twitter or TikTok or Facebook or anything? Have you had people reach out to you and go, "You were an inspiration"?
But yeah, I actually have had somebody message me. Ironically, it tells a funny story to get there. One, in the very, very early stages, when I, like I said, was streaming to almost no one,
Mm-hmm.
somebody came in and put a lovely, the ASCII art.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they just wanted to troll, and they put a swastika in my chat.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
Now this person, because I am so, I was, ironically at the time, I was kind of like, desperate for viewers. So I took the time and I was like, hey man, that's really kind of shitty, for one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I understand, it's like people just want to do stupid shit. This is the internet. People want to get a laugh out of stuff. Sometimes we push things too far. I said, I would ask you to not do that shit, and maybe we could have just a normal conversation like human beings.
Yeah.
There was a long silence in my chat, and my only mod at the time was like, do I ban this guy? I'm like, no, just give it a minute.
Mm-hmm.
They come back in after about 20 minutes of silence, and they're like, hey man, yeah, I'm sorry. I was just really fucking bored. I've been kind of angry lately. And I just wanted to take it out on other people and be fucking stupid. And I apologize. And they left.
Holy shit.
About, I don't know, 3 to 5 days later, this is when I was streaming every day.
Mm-hmm.
To know, you know what they tell you not to do? Don't stream every day to nobody. Go out and make friends first. Yeah, that was not me. I streamed every fucking day, 5 to 7 days a week. Getting 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
To almost nobody. But this person came back. And they started hanging out. We had pretty much dropped the whole, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
We just left it in the past and got to talking. Dude lives with his family. He was younger. He didn't have a lot of control of his life, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He was actually working at a young age, but all of his money was helping mom and dad pay bills. He was in a rough situation, right?
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things that, I don't know. There's something told me that day, this was just weird. Just give this person a shot.
Yeah.
And I usually do. I usually, to this day, will still get, depending on the level and severity of the trolling, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's certain things that you're just nah man, get the fuck out. We're not gonna deal with that shit here. But there's other stuff where you're just wait. Because there's still a human there.
Right.
There's still a person there. And sometimes people can be reached.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody can.
No.
I would say 90% of them can't.
Right.
I really would. when they think, and generally it's because they're young, like super young. Like
Mm-hmm.
you think 90% of the time people are coming and say, "Hey, you fat bitch," it's like that shit. Like
Right.
generally, they're probably some 13-year-old kid who's getting bullied at school and is coming online to take it out on you.
Right.
Like that's 90% of the time. Actually, 100% of the time, if anybody's being shitty to you, it's a them problem, not a you problem.
Yes.
And knowing this is what empowered me to be able to like have a conversation with this person. Long story short, this person was in my chat almost every night since they returned
Yeah.
because they had nowhere to go. They had very few friends. They felt very depressed and alone, and they had a place to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
After, because I used to, like I said, I'd stream from like midnight to like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So I was there for the late night weirdos and lurkers and those folks that really had nothing else to do, especially stateside.
Yeah.
But I would pick up some European folks too. Like
Yeah.
a lot of my earlier supporters were folks from European countries.
Mm-hmm.
But the long story short, this person eventually became my second moderator. And we had become very, very good friends. We're friends on Facebook, like direct friends. So he knows my real name. He knows my address. He like there's things that he knows about me that people don't.
Right.
And a lot of people are like really shocked. It's like, yeah, one of my first trolls is actually my second moderator.
Yeah.
Like and they had sent me a message throughout all of this, letting me know. It's like, hey, dude, like I don't think you really know how much it means to me that you do this. He's like, and this is before I, ever saw more than maybe 6 to 8 people in my channel at a time. And that really hit hard because I was that person.
Yeah.
Even going into it, you know what I'm saying? Because like you get older, you have kids, your friends kind of distance yourself from them because they don't have kids. So there's no relatability. Like that shit happens.
Yeah.
So like it was just me and my wife and my kids. So like I totally got it. But it really hit hard because it's like I didn't think that like it would be that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
That I'm doing this. There's no way that could matter that much to somebody. But it does.
Yeah.
It really, really does. And it's those small impacts that you don't think matter.
Right.
It's one of the reasons like why I to quote him, why I fucks with Gary V's content. Because he does like sure he has some, there are some aspects of his life and other things that don't mesh and that like I don't quite 100% agree with, but like that's okay. You can be friends or like somebody's stuff and not 100% agree with them.
Right.
You don't like that's a whole topic entirely about how like, oh, you don't believe this one thing that I believe. We can't be friends now. It's like,
right.
I'm sorry that you feel that way because that is wrong. Like,
right.
Like my wife and I are politically different. We're like total opposites. She's outdoorsy. I'm indoorsy. She likes fucking reality TV shows, which I love to give her shit about. But I love her to death. Like
Right.
yeah, having differences can cause friction, but it's how you work through the friction and move on.
Yep.
Shit, what were we talking about? My brain just took a massive dump.
People messaging saying that you're an inspiration and that kind of stuff.
But it's just like I said was saying about Gary V, that positive, like it may not seem like it.
Mm-hmm.
It may not seem like it. But there is a good chance that because I gave that person a chance, that he eventually did get a couple of his very few IRL friends to come by. And sometimes they would be there when he wasn't.
Yeah.
There is always going to be a positive ROI on being nice.
Yep.
It might not seem like it today, but I might not have 20 to 30 some odd people in my nighttime streams had I not tried to be genuine and treat people the way I would want to be treated.
Right.
Just plain and simple.
Well, and you see, so I get those messages more often than I ex like ever expected to. My
I've only had a few,
I,
and I never expected them. Zero. Like, I was literally coming out to entertain people. Like, I would just
right.
wanted to make people laugh and be goofy, but I also wanted to be successful at it. It was like, how do I put it? I'll let you tell your story, but just know that from my point of view, it is about the money, but it isn't. And there's a whole thing there. But
Yes.
finish what you're talking about, and we can move into that.
So
'Cause-
you know that we've had conversations about our histories and some of our struggles and our past and stuff, but I started streaming coming off of being homeless. Like 6 months after being homeless, I started streaming and I had nothing. I was playing games that I got for free, that I caught on a really good sale, and I
Yep.
was using a webcam that flickered because I couldn't and it was a webcam that somebody gave me because it flickered. Like, I did not have I didn't have what I have now. I was streaming using a 32-inch 720p TV as my primary monitor. Like, that's what I did, and I didn't do it. I did it because it's something I had always wanted to try and always wanted to do. I wanted to do the gaming let's play YouTube stuff, but I didn't. I figured, you know what, I'll try it. And me opening up and being vulnerable about where I've been, and even just saying, guys, it's been a really shitty day. It's been a really fucky day. And I just want to hang out and have fun. I mean, my community knows that I've suffered a very tragic loss recently of a
Mhm.
friend. And they were like the outpouring of support, and they were just like, "Hey, this doesn't reflect on you as a friend."
Right.
Like that those messages fucking made me break the fuck down. But people saying you being so open and so vulnerable about your mental health and your financial situation and your familial relationships, because Jesus Christ, before I went to go visit family, I played a game that just dug right into all the family feels and just like, you didn't want to feel these feelings, bitch, but you're going to feel them now. Like,
Right.
like me being open and vulnerable about those kinds of things have made people feel less alone, or people seeing that, I do a lot of charity work.
Yep.
We raised $25,000 last year,
Holy shit.
right? That was someone who just recently hit 800 followers. That is like, people are just like, I wish I could raise money like you. And the reason I'm able to do that is because I am openly vulnerable about things that people can connect with, and I'm honest with people. I'm honest about where my money goes for a lot of things. I'm honest about how some of these things happen, and being able to do that, people are like, they gravitate towards me and I don't know why. And then I get real awkward and I'm like, "Hello, fellow weirdo. How's it like being one of the cool kids? Hello, like, dab on them haters. What's up?" Like, I feel so fucking weird. Like, it's I don't fucking get it.
No, you're fine. I get what you're getting at.
Like, and I know people who are just like, if you talk about your numbers, that's just you're doing it for attention and blah blah
Nope.
blah. And I was like,
No.
no.
No. Well, and I found that transparency is the best thing. Because yet again, this brings up that whole conversation of how you get people who are faking modesty.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm not going to name names, but there was a streamer that very adamantly always stated that they didn't care about the numbers, they weren't here to grow, they were just here to have fun.
Right.
But you could tell that that was a lie, Because every time that the viewership was like half the normal, they just wore it on their face. They were just pissy. It's like, you realize that when you tell people that you don't care if you grow or not, you have literally said, hey, if you're not here, it's cool. Now, that sounds innocuous, right? But at the same time, when you tell people that, hey, you don't have to be here, then there's a lessened sense of urgency to make it to a stream. There's no urgency to be there because you're not reliant on it.
Right.
If that makes sense. And then when you're discovered to absolutely care,
then you look like a piece of shit.
I have told people since day one, you've probably heard me say it on my streams, I want to fucking grow this channel.
Yeah.
Am I really happy that I can sit on somewhere between 150 to 200 subs with a viewership of 20 to 30 people? Fuck yes.
Right.
That is ridiculous.
Right.
One of my moderators used to work for Streamlabs. He goes, your numbers for your size are ridiculous.
Right.
He goes, you are doing the right things. Your issue is just discoverability because you play a bunch of dead games that nobody's interested in.
I mean...
It's like all the superpowers that I could fucking have if I were to sit down and go, you know what, this game is the popular game and I know how the game works.
Right.
I know how the gamified system of fucking social media and stuff works. I can play the game.
Right.
I don't want to.
Right. I don't fucking
I want to do it my way, damn it.
Right.
I don't want to sit there and play the same fucking boring shit over and over and over again because that game is gonna do good for you. Now, I do need to learn to implement like the 80-20 or 70-30 rule.
Well, yeah.
Where I do need to start using my brain and playing stuff that I enjoy but is good.
Right.
For my growth. But like some people just like they'll sell out. Like you'll see the Twitter posts. You know the Twitter posts. You know the ones I'm talking about. Let's bring up the same goddamn topic that has been brought up on streamer Twitter every 6 months for the last forever.
Yep.
Because it gets interaction.
Yep.
I could literally go to Twitter right now and just say, you know, I could literally bring up the topic of, hey, you need to respect female streamers, they're streamers too, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
I could fucking do it. And you know what? That goddamn tweet would have it would probably get over 100 likes. It would get retweets. It would please the masses. Right. But I fucking hate that shit. Because it's placating to the audience. It's placating to the shit. It's like, how much attention, like, I know how to play the game.
Right.
It's obvious. Yet again, as a person who has been very business minded for the last 10 years of his life running a band and doing all this stuff, I see how this stuff works. I just hate that it works that way.
Or the thing that you do is if like there's been a problem on Twitch and everybody's looking at Twitch support, their Twitter profile, and you tweet at them and you say something that, you know, oh my gosh, it's so profound, here's the answer, it's written out, and you're reaching for virality, hoping to gain popularity. That's not how that shit fucking works.
No, well, and then even if you do get some virality out of it, it's going to be short-lived and you're going to end up back where you started.
Yep.
That's why I will still to this day, if I am in the mood this week to play a fucking point-and-click adventure game that nobody has ever heard of, I'm going to do it because I know that the audience that shows up and the people that show up to watch me know that they're going to get the quality of content that I put out because they know I'm going to be entertaining with it. They know I'm not just going to sit and play the game. They know I'm going to do the memes. They know that I'm going to fucking say inappropriate things that I'm still surprised hasn't got me kicked off the goddamn platform.
Right. I haven't contributed to that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, look, let's be real. Yet again, I am that lawful evil person that I know where the line exists.
Right.
And I know what I can and can't do.
Right.
I joke about breaking terms of service. I never have.
Right.
Because I have actually read the terms of service. People are like, oh, you make horrible sexual comments and blah blah. It's like, but here's the thing. I, for one, am not making the content itself sexualized, which is
Right.
what the wording in the terms of, see, because I was that kid that was a pain in the ass to his parents. If my parents told me not to do something, they better damn well word this very carefully,
Right.
or I will go, but you didn't say.
But you didn't say this.
But because you worded it in such a fashion,
Right.
doesn't mean that, and you still get away with doing it. And they're like, God damn it. It's
Right.
like, so I know where I exist on the platform. People can report me all they want, but like the funny thing is, I'm not selling you the sex. The sex isn't, it is a one-off comment.
Mm-hmm.
Is it offensive? Yes, but my stream is labeled 18 plus.
Right. You
If
have
I
put
was,
the protections there.
Yeah, yep. And if somebody is under that age and I've said, and you know, people like, I'm not going to go and make some gross sexual comment to somebody that I already know, like directed. And that's the whole thing, where
Mm-hmm.
you are directing it, right?
Yep.
Like I could put on my sexy porn music and make some joke when a friend comes in that hangs out there's like, hey buddy, how's it going? You want me to sit on your face? You know, like stuff like
Right.
that.
Right.
And it's funny because they know I'm not serious about it.
Right.
Now, would I say that to a new follower? Hell no.
Fuck no.
I want them to exist within the space and know that that's the kind of humor that happens. And
Right.
then allow me to read off of them whether or not they would probably be the person that would accept that as a joke or would legitimately think that I'm propositioning them.
Right.
Because there in the terms of service lies the word, and it's the keyest, the biggest of key words. And I wish I could just print the terms of service out for every Twitch streamer and highlight the word
Uh-huh.
is intent.
Yes.
That is the whole thing.
Yep.
And that's why people are like, well, why doesn't some of these like ladies that sexualize themselves a little bit, they do. There's no lying. There are women that do it.
Oh yeah.
And like, but they're right. They can dress however they want to.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the viewer, yet again, art being subjective and the onlooker being the one projecting their wants and emotions on the art.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those funny things because I'm gonna say it. If I was a beautiful lady, my shit would be out.
Oh yeah.
Why? Because it does work.
Yeah.
Now, am I saying that that's what all women do? No. Some woman, like, if a woman just wants to wear a tank top and she's fucking comfortable, that's cool. But there are some things that give it away. Like, there are certain camera angles that are a little more flattering than others.
Right. Right.
But, and here's you want to hear the biggest hot take? And I'm going to, like, here's how I get myself canceled. We take this out of context, and we take it out of context, we put a clip up, and I'll blow up for it, okay? This is because this is how you do this. You manufacture things, and then you put it out of context, and you make it sound like something's really bad, and then it's not, and then people discover that it wasn't really that bad.
Right.
But you fuel and like I said, I know how the game works.
Yes.
But I will say, it's not that women have it easier, because that is a load of shit.
Correct.
Because they get harassed, they get bullied, but there is something to be said about good-looking people who will get the click before anybody else.
Conventionally good-looking people
Conventionally, yes.
will get more. They don't. It's not that they have more pull. It's the public wants to feed them more than they do.
It's a built-in handicap per se. It's a built-in handicap, like in golf. Like a handicap is a good thing in golf.
Right.
If you are good looking, and you have nice, lovely assets as a human being, you are just innately going to get more clicks. Now, that doesn't mean that they will stay. Right. That does not mean that your content will remain engaging. That is just another thing. It's this stickiness. it's that attractive, like, does the billboard attract you to the stream? Now, yes, they're going to, like I said, women don't have it easier, but I know I will watch a female streamer before I'll watch a guy streamer, just in general, because one, I like the female form. Am I going to be a perv and be like, oh, hey, baby, how's it going? You send me pictures of your feet. Like, I hate that. And I hate that even more because that joke, as a foot fetishist myself, aggravates me because that is like that's the joke.
I know.
I am the butt of a joke of the worst possible scum-sucking people on the planet, and it's the foot fetishist. It's like, why is it always us?
Right.
I am decent. Is this maybe why I like to walk and look down at the ground during the summertime? Because yeah, I will look. The thing that upsets me is like, stop objectifying me. It's like, when was the last time that you watched fucking Aquaman and didn't, like, just oogle that motherfucker on screen?
Right.
You do it.
Right.
You do it, but because I have a penis and I'm not your physical, like, what you would normally be attracted to, I'm a creep.
Right.
I didn't say anything to you. I'm sorry that we're having a conversation. I briefly looked down at your tits. They're huge. I can't help it. I'm a dude who likes tits.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
But like I think that like things have gotten a little bit too far in that realm. Mm-hmm. If you know what I'm saying. Like people get too offended about that shit. It's like, look, if somebody were to like look at, like, here's a story. I was at Hy-Vee with my wife.
Oh God.
I was wearing pajama pants.
Oh God.
Okay? Because I wore pajama pants everywhere when I was younger. My wife says I'm not allowed to wear pajama pants anymore because the girl behind the counter looked at my dick.
Oh my God.
Like, it was literally, like, I wish there was a camera here, so when you hear the pause, just imagine the eyes going down and back up real quick, okay? It's like, all right, that's it. Your total will be $354. Like, there was a obvious audible pause, and she kind of went. It's like, yeah, you just looked at, and she turned around to me, and she goes, she just looked at your dick. You are not wearing pajama pants in public ever again. It's like, I'm sorry.
Right.
But, like, am I offended by that? No, it's just funny.
Right.
Like, but could she be an absolute fucking psycho pervert, like, rapist? She very well could have been.
Right.
But the only thing that she did was just innocently look at my fucking dick. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there was the shadow, there's the outline.
Right, it's pajama pants.
It was my fault because I was leaning backwards against the other counter that was behind me, so it was just like, here you go. Like, and I didn't do it on purpose because I'm so fucking socially inept. You know, but like, you know, it just falls into that weird thing. The man spreading, the other stuff. It's like, shut the fuck up. It's like, the dude's just sitting there.
Yeah. Well,
like,
so there's been a joke in my chat recently, thanks to the wonderful ADHD toaster, but he
Yay, toaster.
Yay,
toast.
I love Toasty. He's fucking great. But
has he heard that song? Does he know that song exists?
Yes.
Dr. Demento, Yay, toast. It was okay. I was just making sure, because if he didn't, that needs to be like, we need to play it for him as soon as possible if he didn't know it.
So Toast was in one of somebody he supports and kind of works for. He was in their chat, and somebody put in the pickup line of, "Hey yo, you shit with that ass." And we've been rolling with that joke, but he goes, what would you do if you were at a bar and someone walked up to you and grabbed your ass and said, "Hey yo, girl, you poop with that ass"?
Yeah, see, yes.
And like, for me, my reply was, well, I'd be punching someone, and then I'd be laughing because, I mean, yeah, I do have a pretty great ass when I'm wearing the right jeans. Like, I'm very fucking aware, like, that I have, of my ass and my thighs are a great selling point. And my tits when I wear the right bra, like, I know this. But, like, I know that I'm not the conventional attractive for most people, but the thing is I don't have to be conventionally attractive to fucking feel good.
Well, see, that's the whole other thing too, right? Like, when I tell people this, like, a lot of people need to hear this. You might not think that you are anybody's anything. Mm-hmm. Just spend, like, clear your browser history, and then go to Pornhub.
Yeah.
There are so many different things that people like. You are somebody's something. The issue generally is that you think you're not. Generally, it might be because you're a fucking asshole and nobody likes assholes.
Well.
But I mean, there are some, but that's a whole subgenre of mental illness that we're not going to get into.
We're not going to talk about tongue punch and peach rings right now. It's fine.
But you know what I'm saying, like,
right.
And the thing that yet again carries over to content.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to be everybody's cup of tea? Absolutely not.
No.
There's a guy I follow him on TikTok. He's a cool guy. He's a Twitch streamer, Knackers. I don't know if you think it's 2 A's. He usually does like tech review stuff. He's kind of goofy, he's kind of silly, but he absolutely does not like streams like mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't like the constant interruptions. He doesn't like the chaos. It's just, he goes, it ruins the viewing experience for him.
Right.
I can still enjoy Knacker's content, even though he says that he would not like my content, for one. I want to just put that out there. Like, you are allowed to like people's shit, even if they, like, don't reciprocate.
Yes.
That's one of the things that kills me, because there are so many people out there that will like, well, Jimmy Joe Jim Bob Buttfuck didn't decide to show up to my stream for the last week, and he unfollowed me on Twitter, so fuck him, I'm gonna unfollow him too. It's like, do you like his content? Do you still like him?
Right.
Maybe your stuff isn't for him. He doesn't mean he doesn't like you.
Right.
But I've seen so many people stop supporting people because they don't support them back. So that's like that weird supports for support thing. We kind of started off the conversation today about, in similar vein.
Yeah.
But my stream, your content, your music, your art, whatever the fuck it is, you are making it for people like you. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yep.
The thing is, you need to find those people like you. And the only way to do that is to continue to be yourself unapologetically.
Yes. Yes.
Never, because when you fake that little bit, because like I said, there is some truth to the fake it or make it, but there is also a long-term failure device that eventually it's like a self-destruct button that gets implanted when you have faked it for too long.
Yep.
Because then when people start to see the real you have to start over.
Yep.
You will have to start over because the people that you attracted don't like the real you. Mm-hmm. Accept who you are, your flaws, your weird quirks, all that shit. Mm-hmm. Own it. Put it out on a fucking billboard out in front of the house. Yeah. I'm a fucking dirty old feet dude.
Right.
Right there. You know what? And if you're single, the right person's going to go, this person's going to worship my feet. I've always wanted that. Yeah. That might sound fucking weird to the people that don't get it.
Right.
But for the people that do,
it fucking clicks.
They have a home. They feel like they belong. People want to feel like they belong. And when they are in a stream, or if they're listening to music, or they're involved with something that they don't click with, they feel out of place.
Yeah.
So make those people feel out of place. Be so much more yourself that those people that you wouldn't want to hang out with anyway don't stick around.
Right. Well, that's
because then that's going to attract all of those people that you do want. And yet again, it's that long term. You play the long game. Yep. That's what I'm doing. I'm convinced that I'm still playing the long game. I don't care if I have to be fucking 60 in doing this. Like, I will continue to do this because I get to attract like-minded people and entertain like-minded people. And if those people don't, like, it's always like, man, I don't like this game. Fucking leave.
Yeah.
Like, I had a long-term supporter started complaining about one of the games I was playing. I was like, well, then this isn't for you.
Yeah.
We'll play something different in a couple weeks. Stop fucking bitching about it.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Go watch somebody else. And if you want to come back when I'm doing something that does entertain you and something that you like, then come back.
Right.
And if what I've just said to you offended you wholeheartedly, then don't come back. I really don't care. Because at that point, I have realized that you don't belong here.
Right. I had someone who was a very early supporter, was a moderator, whole 9 yards, and they just fucking ghosted. Literally, someone I knew in real life. Like, we spent the night at each other's house.
Oof.
And, like, did stuff together frequently. And
those IRL connections that happen like that does hit just slightly differently, but still, it still applies.
Right. And I'm like, listen, fine, whatever. I don't give a shit. I want you to be happy as a person. And if that means that you're not fucking around me, fine. I went through junior and senior year of high school. So somebody that I went to high school with recently came to my Twitch and just popped into chat and started talking. And I was like, holy fuck. Hello. But this was the same person that dropped me because they didn't like who I'd become when I got clean.
And that's the other thing, too. Speaking of, because we were talking about self-improvement. That right there. There are going to be some people that don't like who you become, and that's okay, because they like the idea of who you were. And honestly, keeping them around until they have their own personal growth to the point where they accept you for who you are, you don't need them there.
No.
They're just going to literally pull you back into that shit.
Yep.
They want you. It's crabs in a bucket.
Yep.
Or lobsters in a bucket. It's that they want. Misery loves company. They want you there. They want you to suffer with them because they don't want to feel alone. People want to feel like they fit in.
Yeah.
And when you're successful and you're happy, unhappy people don't feel like they fit in anymore.
Right. And it was just like in the conversation leading up to they had something kind of catastrophic happen in their life, and so they pretty much stopped talking to me for a minute, like recently. And I feel for them as a human being. I feel for them, but I remember the day standing outside the art room when I was told, "You're not hanging out with us. Like, we don't want you to hang out with us at prom because you've invited yourself to the festivities and you're just a fucking downer." But they were talking about everything with me included in the group. But I wasn't invited. But I assumed because they were talking about the event to me, in front of me, in the group with me, that I was invited. Like, shit like that. High school shit.
Gotcha.
Fucking high school shit.
Yeah.
But when it's your senior prom and all of your friends, this is your last group of friends left, and they do that to you, and you're just like, you know what, fuck it, fine. I'm better off on my own anyway. And, like, I very much struggled in college and stuff like that because I had that feeling of abandonment. Now I'm 12 years down the road, and oh, look how the tables have turned. I'm happy and fucking confident in myself. I can go do what the fuck I want to do and not worry about what people are going to think about me. Because I don't give a fuck. And it's great. It's fucking great. The people whose opinions I care about are the people who are close to me.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck what
and
some
then
stranger thinks.
Even then, they're like, one of the things that Gary Vee says, though, the opinions of people that like you do have to be careful with that, because you can get, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like that whole getting high off your own supply sort of thing. Like where, oh no, your stream last night was great. Don't worry about it. Like, it's the people that say, hey, I'll watch your stream regardless of what you play. Don't tell me that.
Right.
Don't tell me that. Because some people will. I mean, like, some people will, 100%.
Right.
But some people that say that won't. But if you think that you can always just get away with doing what you're doing and everything that you're doing is good enough, you'll start to stagnate, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, if you want to work on stuff, sometimes it's better to, you need just use your own opinion.
Honestly critical is what it is.
Yes. You need somebody who will be honest with you, and that's the key, right? Because having somebody who's just going to be a sycophant and kiss your little butthole and tell you that you're
Mm-hmm.
doing everything right, that's yet again, I've seen numerous bands and streamers fail because they were surrounded by people who just hold on. Ooh. Ooh. That will basically just tell you what they think you want to hear.
Right.
Which is always like, my wife's like, why don't you just, believe me when I tell you that, you're doing good? It's like, because you're my wife and you're supposed to
Yeah.
tell me these things. She's like, no, I would tell you the truth. I was like, I know you
But really?
would. I mean, I know she would,
Right.
but my brain just won't accept it, right?
Yeah.
It will not accept it.
Yeah.
At all. It doesn't matter how hard you try, how much you tell me, I still won't believe it. It's just because you're supposed to tell me these things. You're supposed to be nice to me. You're
Yeah.
supposed to tell me that I'm doing a good job.
Right. And but there are some people who can't hear the, hey, I'm going to give you honest, constructive criticism here. This didn't work out so well. No, it's fine. And it's like, no, it's not.
Oh my god.
But it's those people that just fucking drive me nuts. And I still want to see them succeed. I still want to see them successful, but they need to remove their head from their own rectum.
Yes.
And
yeah, that's a whole nother thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's why I feel such a good I feel like I can just be like, if I see something that I'm not vibing with on stream, like I see an action occurring, because I've done it. I've said, hey, I've seen this and it makes me really uncomfortable, and I'm just making you aware because it's your stream, it's your space. I want to see you successful, and I don't know if other people are having these issues. And then we fucking talk about it.
Right.
And you address the things that need to be addressed. And if I'm being a fucking worrywart over some shit, you're gonna be like, nah, it's chill. I'm gonna be like, all right, bet. Thanks for hearing me out. That's all it needs to be.
Yep.
Like, fuck, man. Like, I had an issue where a game was causing huge lag on a stream. And someone was just like, hey, I don't mean to interrupt, and I hope your stream is going really well, but your stream is stuttering really, really badly, and it's not my internet, it's your stream. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And I was so invested in the game that I missed that I was dropping frames like a motherfucker.
And you know what's the most aggravating thing ever?
When nobody tells you.
There are 15 other motherfuckers in this chat!
Right!
And you just sat here and watched it happen!
Right.
Like, I love you guys, but if my shit is shit, tell me!
Right? Yet
again, it falls into that category of like, I want to know when something isn't working.
Yes.
I want to know. It's, it falls into that category of why I don't want people to just tell me everything is good enough, because there's room for improvement.
Yep.
Oh god, it kills me.
Yeah. So we've talked shop for so long, and we've got to get ready to wrap up. So I've got to get in at least one guest question. It's the guest question that's asked of every guest. Once we do it, we'll wrap up. We'll let you do your promotion of things. But I want to ask you this question, which comes from our one of our patrons, Read the Abnormal. And it's a question I gave you a little bit of time to think about. What is your mundane superpower? Or if you could have one, what would it be?
Okay, you let me know ahead of time about this. I do have a mundane superpower. It is the dumbest thing on the planet.
And I'm so ready to nut for it. I want to know. Tell me.
It is super mundane. I can almost find, like, my judgment of distance is almost superhuman.
Fuck you. I
can find almost dead center on like objects. Like I don't know what it is. It's a super what do they call that? Spatial awareness.
Uh-huh.
Like we were building a playset for my kids And my dad was like, "Oh, we need to put this pole like center here." It's like, "Where? Because do you have a tape measure?" I was like, "No, but center is right about there." He goes, "Bullshit." And I go, "No, Dad, that's about center. It's right there." I was off by maybe a 16th to a 32nd of an inch,
Fuck
like
you.
just of dead center. And it's always been that way. Like I can pick up I hadn't shot a gun in years.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to a Memorial Day party at a friend's house where they were shooting clay pigeons and doing other stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like, "Hey, hand me that gun over there." It's like, "I'm gonna shoot that," and they're like, "What? We're out of clay pigeons." I'm like, "That tiny little piece of clay pigeon on the dirt mound over there." They're like, "Bullshit." It's like, "I've never seen you shoot a gun." It's like, "I haven't shot a gun in, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 years, like since I was a kid with my dad."
Mm-hmm.
I took my first shot to figure out where I was at, and then I shredded it.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't understand it. I was never trained to like judge distance. I was never, but here, you want to hear the kicker? The shittiest part about it? It doesn't work in video games for me.
Oh, fuck.
I can't play this is another reason why I don't play platforming games. I suck at them. I especially 3D platformers.
Uh-huh.
I misjudge the distances all the time. I end up falling and then having to restart the match over the whole map over again because that's what platformers did.
Yep.
I hated them. The amount of times on the PlayStation that I would be playing Crash Bandicoot and I was trying to jump over those gaps, I couldn't fucking do it. I could not judge the goddamn distance. And the thing that made me most angry is knowing that how well I can do it in real life.
Right.
Like, it's like, why? Why is this so fucking hard? It's distance.
Right.
It's frustrating.
God.
But at least using this superpower in 6th grade, I was able to take down one of my bullies because he punched me in the face and then ran off saying, "You are too fat and slow, and you will never be able to catch me."
Oh.
And he ran off on the playground.
Oh.
I picked up a rock. I threw it and hit him right in the back of the kneecap.
Yes.
Which caused him to tumble and fall. You know, like when somebody falls down a hill and they like flail when they start to pick up speed?
Yeah.
He kind of flopped like that. Like, you know, like a turkey getting shot with a fucking field pellets. He rolled and flopped and flailed. I just walked up, I kicked him in the stomach, said, "Hey, fuck you. I don't need to be fast to kick your ass." And I lost all of my noon recesses for the rest of the year.
Well,
but it was worth it.
It was fucking worth it.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
Oh, that's fucking great. Yeah, we've joked about mundane superpowers around here, and we haven't brought it up in a while, but to give you a fucking comparison, we've had like the ability to just like drop trash like off the desk onto the floor and it's instantly put in the trash can. Or being able to like make flowers appear out of nowhere, or be able to be invisible for 30 seconds to get out of an awkward situation. Or
do you know how much trouble a lawful evil person like myself could get in if I could go invisible for 30 seconds?
Absolutely.
30 seconds?
Absolutely.
Dude, 30 seconds. You don't even, people can pick a pocket and not be invisible in less than that time. Like 30 seconds to be holy shit. Like that's a superpower at that point.
Right.
30 seconds of invisibility? Goddamn.
Well, so one of the mundane superpowers, and you can, you might not be able to guess who said this, but I'll tell you in a minute. The ability to, eat, like ingest clean plates or dirty plates and shit out clean plates.
What the fuck?
Right? Or being able to hoover the floor with your mouth and not taste any of the dirt. So
excuse me?
Imagine how chaotic this would be if Druid had made it, because those were Druid's mundane superpowers after he had indulged in a little bit of wine and in a little bit of herbal substances.
Oh no.
So those are some of the levels of mundane superpowers. So I absolutely love yours.
It's just stupid. Like, it doesn't serve me any real purpose, especially because I'm not a handyman. I don't like build shit with my hands. Like it might be good, but like the only thing that it does for me is when I see stuff, like I see an image and I go, that is horribly off center. And everybody's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, no, the fuck it's not. Look at the goddamn margins. There's at least like it's so stupid. So stupid.
Oh, I love it.
I don't.
That
You can have it. You
fuck
can
up.
take this super power. If you find a way to get so that I can give it to you, you can have it. But I promise you, you're gonna drive yourself insane.
Oh, trust me, I already do. It's fine. Well, dude, thank you so much. I had an absolute blast. I know we talked a lot of shop, but honestly, talking shop is something that we do a lot of on this podcast, but not
Good.
we talk shop, but we end up devolving into other things. But it's I really enjoy this because there's so many things that go unsaid that we have said today, and it just it makes me feel so good to get it out finally somewhere.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
I hope that you enjoyed your time hanging out and chatting with me.
I'm a stay-at-home dad. I get to. My wife works sometimes 10 to 14-hour days, 5 to 6 days a week. Trust me when I say I enjoy having conversations with people because I don't get it very often. The only conversations I generally get are with a 5-year-old and an 11-year-old.
And oh boy, are those conversations great.
Aren't they though? They really can be. They're fun.
Your kids are great.
I'll make sure to tell them. Actually, I better not tell them. We'll get a big head about it.
Because the next time I come over, they're going to be even farther up my ass. Just like, hi, come on, let's do all the things. And I'm going to be like, hi, I'm just here for 5 minutes to talk to your dad about something. Hello. Yes, things. Okay, goodbye. No, I have to go. No, leave me alone. I wouldn't ever do that to your kids, but you know what I mean.
You're allowed to. You're allowed to.
So, Micro, is there any platforms, socials, anything like that you would like to plug?
Honestly, just Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. Those are the 3 things that I like in that order too. Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube, like literally in that order. Just come say hi, follow. If you like it, if you like what you see, follow. Like I said, if you don't, it's cool.
Yeah. But
it doesn't hurt to check it out. I might be your cup of tea. I might be the biggest villain that creates your own origin story. I mean,
you never know. But it honestly, for people listening, I found him on a whim, and I'm so glad that I did. The same kind of adult humor, and he does point and click adventures. He does like that he went through the Telltale games. It's definitely worth it to go check him out. There's sometimes Magic the Gathering, sometimes Grounded, sometimes Core Keeper. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I usually stick to what I like to tell people is it's role-playing games, turn-based strategy, adventure, point-and-click adventure games, and like survival and crafting. Like usually, if it fits within that, that's usually what I'm playing. I rarely play shooters unless they have like heavy RPG elements in it.
Right.
But like tonight we're playing. I think we were gonna just play XCOM for a few hours tonight, like because I haven't played an XCOM game forever. You know, just might be a little bit of something for everybody, or a lot of nothing for some other people.
Yeah. So just go check him out, and if you come check him out from the podcast, you know, tell him.
It's micromanager with numbers.
Yes.
It's with numbers because, yet again, like I said earlier, the number 13, I just owned it and I put it in my own branding.
Yeah. And it fits. So, Micro, my dude, thank you so much. And everybody listening.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Everybody listening, thank you so much. And to our patrons, thank you so much. Make sure you check out the website, check out the Patreon. We're doing all sorts of fun things. So thank you everybody for listening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.